Two, one. Aloha. Welcome to the Mr.G podcast, episode 6. Today's Saturday morning. I'm doing this every day. I'm Mr.G, also known as Gregory Brandt. There are a few different Mr.G podcasts, but you can find me on Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Search Mr.G Hawaii, Gregory Brandt. This is an everyday thing, and it's building, getting better every day. So, starters. I want to say congratulations to the Denver Nuggets upsetting the Los Angeles Lakers in the Staples Center in Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals last night to take a 3-0 series lead. If you look at earlier editions of my podcast, you can see that I predicted the Denver Nuggets to sweep the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. And so far, that prediction is coming to fruition with the Nuggets being up 3-0 in Game 4 being on Sunday. So today's game, we have Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat playing Game 3 in Miami with a 2-0 series lead after winning the first two games in Boston. Also, if you look at earlier podcasts, I predicted Miami would win the first two games in Boston. They're on borrowed time. As far as today's game, I think the Game 3 and Game 4, I don't think Miami, the 8 seed, is going to sweep the number 2 seed Boston Celtics. They beat the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games, and I see that similar. They're a very good road team. They're a very experienced team, the Miami Heat is. So I think they'll split the next two games, Game 3 and Game 4. I don't know if they lose Game 3. I think they'll win Game 4. If they win Game 3, I think they'll lose Game 4. And I think they'll wrap up the series in 5 when they find themselves one game away from being the first or second number 8 seed ever to make it to the NBA Finals. I believe either the New York Knicks or the Miami Heat did it during their heated rivalry. One of those two teams made it to the NBA Finals. I could be mistaken, but it's very rare. And Jimmy Butler is having an epic postseason, living beyond his expectations, like he has done his whole life. So, with that being said about basketball, what's in the news today? Today, I found out that Elvis Presley had an IQ of 71. That basically makes him retarded. Elvis basically was a retard. But with all due respect, Elvis was probably the best looking retard that you could even imagine. He got all the chicks, way more than that Corky on the Family Ties show on the 90s sitcom. Corky, you ain't shit compared to Elvis, all right? But but yeah, I just saw that on TikTok. Elvis's birthday is coming up. TikTok is the best app and for a lot of reasons. It's the best at sharing information, but also the experience. It's the best for content creation. Any content creator or anyone's that they've polled, I've seen 90% of them prefer TikTok to create content. And as far as myself, who has edited on each of the three major platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, as far as YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok goes, TikTok is king as far as the editing goes. You can add more songs, you can do more things, you can slow down a track, you can zoom in. They have the best effects, they have the best interface, they make it the easiest to use. And so it puts them on top there. YouTube has the worst editor that you can't even slow down things on YouTube. YouTube is just so beta, so simple, and it just doesn't really work with their platform. As far as also with making a short on YouTube, you have to go to the YouTube app and press open, and then you can't just share it as easily as you can with TikTok. TikTok has beaten out the top American tech companies, and they've done it fair and square. And for politicians to take lobbyist money from these huge tech companies and to feed the American public lies, oh, they're stealing your information. TikTok is bad. TikTok is no, TikTok is not stealing our information. TikTok is letting us share information. And that's just I haven't even gotten into that. As far as TikTok is the only place to get actual news. If you want to know what's going on with the riots in Paris, with the riots in Israel, if you want to know what's really happening in the White House, what's really happening with the United States, what's really happening with the Nord Stream pipeline. Well, YouTube is owned by Google, and Google is a huge lobbyist of the United States, along with Facebook, Meta, whatever the fuck they're called, MySpace. I don't know what Zuckerberg is called. That motherfucking billionaire investing billions into trying to get rid of Facebook, trying to get rid of the app that's the most successful app in history, legitimately kicking their ass, not just because you're able to share information, not just because it's not uh, harbored by the government, also because of its small businesses. Being an organic platform, TikTok, that you can grow on, thousands, if not tens of thousands of businesses across the United States rely on TikTok to be noticed, to be heard, to know that their restaurant is there, to know that their dry cleanings exist. Small businesses are the most taxed group in the United States, and TikTok has been a godsend for many of them in the past 3 years, especially starting in 2020. Also, just the overall experience I've spoken about as far as a creator goes, the actual interface, the actual tech, the actual logistics involved in making a video is a much more enjoyable experience on TikTok than Instagram or YouTube. I'll make the same video. I'll come up with a video idea, and I'll have the video that I want to use, and I'll do the edits that I want. But I'll make the same video on YouTube. I'll make the shorts, and I'll make the same video on Instagram Reels, and I'll make the same video on TikTok. With TikTok, I can add fireworks. I can add zoom in close-ups. I can slow down the video. I can speed it up to any part. I can clip it to any part very easily. Instagram, fuck no, you can't do shit. You can add music, and they're just not up to par. It's just like they're 5-10 years behind technology wise. Okay, and that's just as far as the creator aspect goes. Okay, Mr. G, not everybody's a creator. Understandably so. TikTok is the most successful app in history, not just because it's great for creators, also for content consumers. They call it TikTok, and you can kill 2 or 3 hours on it easily because the actual experience of consuming content on TikTok is number one. All right, first off, the swipe thing. I believe that was actually popularized by Tinder. Well, that's the first time that somebody came up with, oh, instead of searching for something, you can do it with a swipe, and then you don't even have to think about it. So TikTok really capitalized on that, but also the sound is better on TikTok. The images are crisper on TikTok. If you look at TikTok, a lot of the videos are in 4K, 8K. The best way to enjoy TikTok is with a nice phone, with a Galaxy S21 Ultra or an S20 Ultra or a newer iPhone, something with a really nice screen that also has a nice camera. And TikTok is interactive. You build communities. It's a lot easier to respond to somebody's video, or sync somebody's video, whatever they call it, duet somebody's video. And they have all these different options that I'm not even aware of, but TikTok is great for small businesses, for independent creators, and it totally knocked it out of the park. For Montana to put up a straight ban on TikTok, it's absurd. And any politician that voted for that, you're going to regret voting against TikTok, because you will not be on the right side of history. Because eventually the generation that is growing up on TikTok, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they're not going to look at it the same way that their predecessors did. So with that being said, TikTok does change people's ideas and information wise. It gives them more information, and the smartest people around, and generally everybody, you want to take as much information as you can, digest it, and then make your own hypothesis on what you think and what your opinion is on any genuine particular situation. All right, that's the key to intelligence, and the key to making intelligent decisions. All right, unless you're like just working from your gut all the time or running on pure emotion. But it's a proven fact. Smart people take both sides of whatever story, situation, problem. They look at both sides. They look at as many different possibilities as possible. And that's what TikTok gives you. Let people make up their own mind on things. I can tell you personally, I was very skeptical up until a few years ago on just about everything. And 10 years ago, I didn't believe in aliens. I didn't believe aliens even visited here. And still, I'm skeptical somewhat. I think the unidentified flying objects could be time travelers, or they could be advanced species that have been here millions of years, or if not hundreds of thousands of years longer than humans. I think that's also a possibility. But I used to be skeptical of everything, including John F. Kennedy, and I would joke about the people who said the moon landing was a hoax. Up until a few months ago, I saw an interview with Stanley Kubrick when Stanley Kubrick is saying, "Oh yeah, I helped film the moon landing. The moon landing is a hoax." And I'm familiar with Stanley Kubrick, and I've seen interviews with him before, and it wasn't a fake interview. It was him actually saying that. And then I saw other interviews with astronauts John Glenn and Neil Armstrong, and they're in their older age. These interviews are probably 10, 15 years ago. These astronauts are probably not around, but they're like talking to little kids and talking to school classrooms, and they're saying, yeah, the moon landing was actually fake. And then they have like handlers like, no, 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 don't tell them, And that's something I would have never believed. And I wouldn't have ever gotten that information if not for TikTok. There's a lot of videos on TikTok. There's a lot of uh, videos that everybody can come across, that you can make up your own mind. And it's going to be even harder in the future with artificial intelligence and deep fakes, because that technology is open to anybody that can use it. So you think it's hard now to get real information and uh, disseminate it between fake news and real news. Fake news, a term Donald Trump came up with. But it's going to be even. What the hell are you doing? But it's going to be even harder in the future when when you'll see a story from a politician or a famous figure or a deceased celebrity, and you won't be able to tell if it's real or if it's fake. And even now today, an example is there was a movie that came out here in Hawaii called 20 Minutes. All right. And if you Google 20 Minutes movie Hawaii and you look at this trailer, all right, this looks like one of the worst movies you could ever see. It looks like it's based on the missile crisis that happened maybe about a little over 5 years ago, where they sent the majority of people in Hawaii a text on our phones saying that North Korea is firing a missile to Honolulu. Duck and cover. You have 20 minutes. So this is something. It's based on an actual event, right? But the movie, it looks like a B not even a B movie, like a straight to video 1980s horror movie. And they take the idea, and you look at the trailer and there's like 5 missiles coming to the air. It turns out to be a false alarm and there weren't ever any missiles fired. But the movie like takes it to another level, and the acting looks so corny and so campy. And they have like that actor from Good Times, like that, except he's like in his 60s and stuff. And it's just so ridiculous. And like, but if you look online and you're like, oh man, people are gonna you would think, oh, people are gonna thrash this online. They're gonna make fun of this so bad. But when you go online, the movie was made by this multi-billionaire, and it's actually apparently a secret Christian movie. They don't mention that in any of the trailers or any of the bumpers for the movie, but at the end there's like a Christian message or something like that. And the thing is, you go online and you try to look for any real reviews of this movie, and the billionaire movie makers somehow made it so there aren't any real reviews. You can't even find one negative comment. If you go to the 20 Minutes movie on YouTube, their trailer, their movie site, on YouTube, their movie page, it's like every comment is, "This is the best movie ever. I can't believe it. The acting is great. I cried at the end," and every trailer shows people leaving the theater like, "It was a number 10, a number 10 out of 11, 11 out of 10." They were just like, "It's the best movie I've ever seen. I loved it so much." And it's like, "What? Like, are we in Bizarro world?" Like, you're loved it because you're in it, or you loved it because your friends in it, or there nobody liked that movie. It's so ridiculous. It's like not even good enough to be in the movie theater. But like the information is not out there. And I've spent hours like, what the fuck? Why can't anybody say the truth? And the only place I got like a real review was somebody puts on TikTok, and I saw a few actual comments like, is this a fucking joke? Like, what is this movie? Like, this is ridiculous, you know? Like, that's the only place, but then those comments in the video was deleted right away. So that's just an example of how information can be suppressed. And like I said earlier, the most intelligent people take both sides of an argument, and they take as much information as something that they can find before making a definitive a argument, or a coming to a conclusion on anything. And that's going to be even harder to do, but that's going to be even more important, that you don't want to believe everything you hear, and you want to take everything with a grain of salt. And a lot of people know that, and you see that with the current UFOs that are being seen everywhere. Like, some people are like, oh, it's just the government, they're faking a UFO attack. Yeah, I think that's unlikely. I'm not really sure. So that's what a normal intelligent person would say. There used to be a consensus among smart people like 10-20 years ago that aliens had not come here, and that Elvis was not alive, and that the government did not kill JFK, and all these things, and the moon landing wasn't a hoax. And I'm not saying that it was, but there is some sketchy information out there, and you can go that with just about every quote unquote conspiracy theory. Now, if you said anything about the COVID vaccine in 2020, you were labeled a conspiracy theorist. That's just a cop out. That's just calling like somebody a racist. It's just a way of like trying to end the argument because you don't have anything worthwhile to say. So, with that being said, everybody be nicer to each other. Today was just a short Saturday podcast. I wonder if I even went over 10 minutes, but this is something I'm doing every day, just like I'm feeding the cats every day. I was going to go Monday through Friday, but we decided to do it every day, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes per day. But I encourage you to follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. That's all I want. Fuck Instagram, and don't follow me on anything. Just please send me money. Okay, that's all I need. Please. I have cats to feed. I have like 100 cats to feed. So but people send me cat food, and I appreciate that. So keep sending the cat food. But hey, man, come on, send me a couple bucks. I fucking know that. All right, everybody. I don't even know. I'm gonna end it on that. Maybe I'll go live again, or maybe I'll podcast again. But have a good day, everybody. And my name is Mr. G, Gregory Brandt. This is episode 6, and short Saturday morning episode, wrapping it up early. Monday and Monday, I'll go long. I'm going to try to go 40 minutes. Have a great day.